Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Thursday Night Shenanigans, featuring Star Realms, hosted by myself, Gusto. We're going to continue on with the Commanders beta action that we did last week. And if some of you watched Matt the Cutter stream as well, he has been running Commanders as well on the beta on stream. And this past weekend, we had a really good back and forth, testing out a lot of the Commanders and kind of breaking it down and just talking about them, the cards, the decks, how they play, different formats, kind of mix it up a little bit, and definitely had some surprises in there for sure. Some revelations in some of the gameplay, and it was a lot of fun. So we're gonna go ahead and tonight we'll take challenges. Any challenges you want. I'm on the beta build on my stream right now, so it will be Commanders challenges, please. And then you can add any other form or any other expansions you want. If you're a monster, you'll add missions. I'm just kidding. I'll take missions. I don't want missions, but I'll take it. So, all right, what we're going to do then is we're going to go ahead and start off tonight. We already got a challenge from Matt the Cutter. I also have a current couple of games going on with Emom and Frank. And if Murado accepts my challenge, it is a dodgeball challenge. So he may accept that while I'm on stream. I don't really care. I'm fine with that. So I think the music volume is looking good this evening. If I can get a thumbs up or thumbs down, that would be cool. If not, no big deal. But let's go ahead and hop in here and accept this first challenge from the Cutter. So the newest update to the Commander beta, the open beta with command decks, I should say, is you can now pick your command deck. So when you send the challenge, you pick your sets and you also pick your commander. So your opponent, when they get the challenge, they can see everything you selected with the packs, obviously, and also your commander. I personally wish it was kind of like either not revealed or just said you had a command deck and then so you picked randomly. I think at some level eventually we'll see some meta where maybe eventually some commanders are better against other commanders. I don't know. We're not remotely near that yet, but I definitely foresee something like that. So we'll see how that works out. So Matt has sent us Divine Admiral Lee over here, and we have VQ in the house, rocking the raid. Thank you so much, VQ. I hope you had a good stream this evening. For those of you not aware, VQ is also a Star Realm streamer. She's a phenomenal player as well. She normally streams the 2-hour block right before I do on Thursday evening, so definitely stop in, check her out. She does a phenomenal job over there. She does stream a lot of other games too. She's a variety streamer, I should say. So I've stopped in there, and she'll be playing some side scrollers, some adventure games, whatever the case may be. Lots of fun. Lux in the house. Ninja Nin, it's probably like 3 in the morning there. Thanks for staying up with us, if not later. Cranky's rolling out in here. Anyone else I'm missing? I don't know. I'm probably missing some people. Kamas, thank you for stopping in as well. All right, let's go ahead and hop in here now. As I mentioned, Matt has selected Divine Admiral Lee. He really, really likes Divine Admiral Lee's built-in ability. If you're not aware, 4:08 a.m. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's Friday, you know. Whatever. Or going into Friday. Is it going into? Yeah, so you're 4:08 in the. Yeah, so you probably still have to work tomorrow. Whatever. Tatiana stopping in. Thank you so much for stopping in. I appreciate it. So anyway, we've been talking about Lee's Gambit ability, where if you scrap a card from your hand or discard, or I think if you use the scrap ability, something like that, you can choose to draw and discard a card. And so we're kind of seeing, oh no, that I'm getting the two mixed up. That one's from play. If you use a scrap ability from a base or ship from play, you can choose to then draw and discard a card, and it's not once per turn. So Me and Matt have already kind of played around with a little bit. He's pulled off some good combos with it already, so it's kind of interesting to see that develop a little bit. We will go ahead and I should have done a randomizer. I didn't think about that tonight. Maybe we'll do that for next week. I wanted to do a randomizer. So I will go to the opposite. So if Matt's going to go Lee, I'll go Yoakum. And then we'll try that out. So I'll accept that challenge. And Matt is going first. So with the Commander betas, we're not really too worried about our best of 2 out of 3 series. I mean, we can be, I don't really care. But I think this is more for fun, more for education for us and everyone else. What these decks do, how they work, and seeing them interact and play with each other. And to, you know, similar to Matt's stream, if I make a mistake on play, definitely call me out, let me know. It's a learning curve for everyone with these beyond my normal mistakes. So Lee's mech battleship is already on the board. My personal opinion, it is the weakest of the commander ships. So for those of you not aware, each of the command decks has a big ship, A-cost ship that does cool stuff, and then they each get shuffled into the deck. So both Yoakums and Lee's are shuffled in, and we already see Lee's on the board. So Lee's is scrap up to 2 cards, then you draw that many, but then you have to discard that many. It's terrible for 8. It's ridiculous. It does no damage unless you faction, and then if you faction, you get 6 damage. One thing we've noticed with command decks is they only have 5 regular starters. They have 4 scouts and 1 viper, except for Yoakum's got his own thing going on. And so most of the command decks, while scrap is normally king in most of the Star Realms games, command decks don't rely on it as much. Normally you need to scrap like 4 or 5, maybe 6 cards tops throughout the game, and you're good to go. So to me, it's just a bad card for 8. It's not good. Anyways, so Matt went first, and he bought nothing. He just did a bunch of damage to us. So did he not even buy like a... Oh, I didn't even buy an Explorer with the Ranger and the Scout? Interesting. So how did they have 4 cards? What did I miss? Because I wasn't even paying attention. I don't even know. I'm not paying attention. All right, so we'll just move on with your flippy starter. Oh, this one here where you can draw and discard. Got it. Yep. When the cards are right in front of me and there's words on them, I don't always read them. Sometimes. Okay. So Yoakum has got these cool shard guys here. So this is the scrap one. This is the life gain. This is the wild card. There's 2 wild cards in there. There's the damage. I think we got a little bit of each. Okay, both the wild cards. So these are kind of cool. If you pair up 3 of them between either the regular ones or with the wild cards, you can sack all 3. You don't scrap them. They just go to your discard, but then you get a bonus ability from them. For example, if I do that with these, I get 4 damage. And then you also trigger a faction ability for that turn. And yes, you can do it multiple times if you got multiple sets. So sometimes it can be helpful, sometimes not. So it does give a little bit of an ability for Yoakum to kind of go multicolor compared to some of the other sets as well. So I am at a crossroads here. I really kind of want that Blot Bot just because it's a great card in general, and I will most likely be able to faction it on Commander pretty close. But of course, getting a repair mech early is awesome, or a security craft, when also, again, as I mentioned, I can faction it. I am going to play it a little, well, the other thing about these decks too is they do a lot of damage, they do a lot of damage fast. Yoakum's deck, not so much, but he draws 7 cards a turn. You can do a lot of stuff with that. We've got 4, 5, 6 trade. I'm going to... I'm going to abuse this. So Yoakum's one-time ability is I can faction all 4 colors and put any card from my discard pile into my hand. It's pretty broken. I'm not going to lie. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to take Repair Mech. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to pull that out. Back to my hand. And then I'm going to play it. And then I am, yes, going to take the Blobot. Attack Warship comes up. That kind of stinks. I would definitely love to have that. We will buy the Stinger. All right, so we're not going to buy anything else. So we are going to scrap it's either the Assault Shard or the Recon Shard, trying to figure out which one I want less. I'm going to keep the Recon Shard just because it provides me trade, and then I'm still getting life gain out of them as well. Faction to red, so we're going to scrap the Assault Pod. And now I'm going to use the ability for the factioning here off these. Doesn't matter what I take, I'll take blue, whatever. So I gained 5 life. And then I also have this one where I can scrap a card in my hand or discard pile. Interesting thing is, after you use these then go into the discard. I don't know if I want to scrap one of the Recon Shards or not. I honestly, I want to scrap these, the Transport Shards. To me, these are the... Drawing a card and discarding a card is obviously normally pretty good, but for me, out of these abilities, it seems like the weakest. I'm not sure. So, we'll continue on. Matt just bought 2 Explorers. And then top second Explorer. So Matt's making a run for his mech battleship. Otherwise, there is 0 reason not to buy that pack warship. Which is one of his favorite cards too. So that's very interesting, to say the least. Alright, so we are going to... So let's go and do that. We'll gladly take a pack warship. So now, because we're going to be able to cycle our deck, we're going to go ahead and do this. Unfortunately, it's going to put them all in before it does it, which is funny because I just drew it. We are not... Well... Yeah, we're not going to buy anything, so we'll get rid of that. We'll faction whatever. It doesn't matter what we faction, so how many cards to get the bonus from it. Oh, he did. I think he beat me 4 games in a row last night or something. It was ridiculous. A couple games I lost with, kill in hand as usual with Star Realms is how the Star Realms works. But a couple of games he just wiped the floor with me. And that's okay. And then it was kind of like, it was in my favor on the weekend stream. So it comes and goes. I have not played as much Commanders as I would like to. So we'll see how that works. I am in a little pickup Commanders dodgeball game right now. So that's interesting. Some stuff, you can make some things happen because there's, in the races for dodgeball where you play with missions. Oh, the playlist? Yeah, he was playing something a little bit harder than normal. I'm just playing some random playlist off of Monster Cat. Let's take a look here. Anyways, so I was able to pull off Shenanigans, we're dodgeball racing, so missions are involved. I had Yoakum and Armada just happened to be one of my missions. Yoakum starts with 7 cards in his hand. So, you could do stupid stuff like that where you just get it right away. Okay, so which one of these are we getting rid of? So we got the draw, the discard, and we got the 2 life gains. Alright, so the draw and discard is going. Let me make sure it's the right one. Yep. Matt hit me with a built-in discard from his starters. So the starter deck, or the command decks, have some interesting cards that they start with right away. It's kind of cool. All right, let's take a look here. Yeah, I need to dig in more how to make better use out of Monster Cat. I don't think I'm looking at it the right way, because when I look at it, I don't see a whole lot there. And I just think I'm just not using it right. So here's going to be an ability where I can... There we go. We're going to... Yeah, we're going to gain 5 life by getting rid of these, put them in the discard. And then we're going to faction red. Then we're going to use that to scrap an assault shard. So that's kind of how you can kind of work that Yoakum's ability a little bit. We'll go security craft, that's fine. We have the ability to kind of get our stuff to mix up a little bit. Normally, in a normal game, I'm all about taking the Frontier Hawk, but I don't think so right now. I think I'm actually going to take that Spike Cluster, especially with some of my greens I have going. So Matt already showing some of that ability where you can play an Explorer, get the trade from it, scrap it for the damage, and then draw and then discard a card from your hand. And the cool thing is you get to draw first. So, I mean, it can be abused pretty good. I'm surprised it's not discard first, but that's not how they did it. Matt is showing how this deck can kind of really cycle through its deck. Kind of get through the cards quicker. Let's take the Frontier Hawk. Alright, interesting. Am a tad surprised. Alright. So we have some choices here. Unfortunately, I don't have 3 to get any of these abilities this turn, so that's where it kind of sinks a little bit. Even though I have a wild, I don't have 2 others to pair up with it. So we know. Okay, so we're going to do this. We can scrap up to 2. I kind of want to take this mech battleship away from him. Yeah, it's 2 scraps is hard to pass up. Like I said, I don't really want the mech battle cruiser or the mech battleship, but I know he's interested in it, and he's still got. I got 3 starters, but he has a couple other cards that would probably treat it the same. Yeah, we'll take it, and then we'll scrap out the 1 here. I could have scrapped the Stinger, but that, to me, not worth it to just scrap 1 more card and lose the Stinger. Yes. Your footsteps on the stairs. If I listen hard enough, they're still there. And you think I'd know better by now. But I still drink until you're next to me again, baby. And I still think that in the morning I might wake up next to you. Alright, mid-game central office. With his ability to draw and discard like that, can definitely do some damage. Alright, so we've got... Unfortunately, we're kind of sitting in that same situation where we don't have trips of anything to take advantage of that. I've got some good blue cards to combo with this Alliance Transport, so we'll grab that. I don't know if we're interested in anything else there. No, we'll grab that Fed Transport again because we can combo it, and it's 5 life every time you play it. It's hard to turn that down. That drops down an unaligned at the moment Blob Destroyer. Still does 6 damage, people. Still does 6 damage for 4. Matt gladly buying another Explorer. So that's the thing about Divine Admiralty. Because of that ability, it's almost never a bad idea to buy Explorers. We got a wild card here. We have another wild card. And then we have the life, draw and discard, or the damage. How much damage is he rocking or not? Not an overt amount. So we're gonna buy this flagship. We're gonna cycle through 1 card. Okay, because that doesn't really help me, so then I'll actually discard that. Then I'll keep the Assault Shard. We will combo, I guess, green, though it doesn't matter. He doesn't have any bases. But still, just having that ability to get those combos of action when you need it, one-offs. You know, we talked a lot about, too, like, is it safe to automatically just play all 4 factions with Yoakum? Having that ability? I think no. I think it's still, because you are eventually going to want to scrap them, so you're going to lose that ability. But it makes it less painful if you grab a really good card from a color, now also being able to faction it up. Like, let's say I had a Blob Destroyer and I had no other green. With Yoakum, that'd still be pretty good, because I could still get the faction off most likely. Matt's getting some discard in on me here. We're good with that. That's not going to hurt us too much. Alright, discard those 2 guys. Alright, so is there any bases we were worthwhile pulling up with that before we do that? Nope. Nothing I can really buy before doing that either, so. Alright, so now we will use this. Scrap up to 2 cards. And then I gotta discard that many. And then I draw and then discard. It's not good. It's just really, I don't get it. We're getting rid of those 2 transport shards. And then I'll discard these 2. Again, it's just not, it's just not good. I don't know how else to put it. It's really bad. I'm surprised at the design of that card. Nothing tempting. I mean, I could scrap the Stinger, grab that mobile market. I'm gonna keep the Stinger for the damage. We'll just apply some damage in that turn. I don't know if you guys change my mind. I mean, to me, this has just got to be the worst command ship. Well, sure, there's always going to be the exception with some random combo you can pull off somewhere. I guess I'm talking about, like, the other 8 out of 10 plays. Did I just miss a scrap? Did I repair mech? So I absolutely missed a scrap. Did he give me a warning? Yeah, I'm too busy ranting about this card. It's so bad. Raiders drafting offensive tackle. That's what we like to see. Kind of got the draft on in the background, half paying attention. Alright, that's got some shenanigans going on here. Alright. Got lots of trade to play with. Lots of trade to play with. I mean, he's almost dead. This is kind of the situation where I'd be like, you know, I wouldn't hate grabbing something like Freighter just for the purchasing power and being able to top deck and then maybe draw. But I don't want to put another trade card in my hand or my deck. Cargo craft, at least second faction do damage, but now I'm starting to scrap these out even more. Who knows how long I'm going to be there. So the other question is, do I leave Central Office out there and spend 6 of my 11 damage, or 12 damage, I guess? That's where it just stinks. First of all, it stinks letting 11 trades sit there. Yeah. We will discard, or we'll blow that up just because of his ability. He could do something. Yes, we have unspent trade. We know we have 11 unspent trade. Yeah, I agree. You know, missing that stinks. But when you draw 7, you can get away with some mistakes. Hopefully. So Matt is going with that cargo craft to go with his built-in yellows. Did he top deck it? Not yet. Alright, Matt throwing down some solid damage and a discard our way. Let's see if we can put this game away. And then we'll discard 2 other shards. There we go, and that's game. Shut her down before I confuse myself and find some way to lose that instead of just applying damage and winning. Good game, Matt, good game. So yeah, real interesting game. Kind of seeing those mechanics with Divine Admiral Lee. And then also seeing, again, the mechanics with Yoakum, how that works, like using the shards to some advantages. Again, you saw plenty of turns though where it did nothing. So it's kind of a little bit give and go. Yoakum's one-time use gambit is gross though. Like Kamas? Alright. So we will run this game with Kamas here. Kamas is rolling command decks with a whole lot of expansions. We're only missing gambits of both kind and also missions. So Kamas is playing Yoakum. So let's see here. Should I just make my way around? I could do that. I'll play McCready then. So we'll kind of cycle through them. And we are going first. So that hurts, especially when you're playing against Yoakum, who's getting 7 cards. And so we'll see. Alright, so McCready's got pretty cool Union Blitz and then a really awesome Gambit. So I think we're going to not gamble on the trucks if I get a damage. I won't be able to get this Moonworm Hatchling, which we really would like to get turn 1, especially because we're already in green. So we'll take the trade. And then we get the damage off the faction. And as you can see, so Yoakum also starts at 72 life, which is the most life of any of the commanders. But he kind of needs it because his deck built in is weaker than the other ones, because the other ones have, like, I mean, I've got a Ripper in my deck already. I've got this card, which basically is almost always going to do 3 damage. You know, so there's some good stuff there. Matt says, wonder if he does. I don't know. We had some games where Yoakum was winning pretty handily. We also had games where he was not winning either. And like I said, his ability sometimes does nothing. So Kamas is getting some shard action going. What did he do? He did the draw a card, discard a card. Okay. Does he have another triple? He does. So that's where I was talking about, like, if you can get like 2 sets going in one turn, which again with him drawing 7 cards can easily happen with 2 wild cards. He was able to get 2 bonuses. He was able to faction 2 different colors. So if he would have had cards out of those, could have been kind of cool. Yeah, I think Yoakum, like I said, once we played him on here, I'll be honest, when I got the command decks physically, I looked at them. I didn't really get a chance to play them too much, just a little bit. And I kind of looked at Yoakums. I started looking at them like, get this out of here, you know. It to me, I kind of said this before, it looked like it was overly complicated for no reason. Like it was too complicated for what it did to make it worthwhile. But as we started playing them, and you really start breaking it down and kind of seeing it in action, that's where it made a little more sense. It clicked a little bit more. All right, so let's go ahead, and this is what I'm talking about. These are all starter cards. I'm dropping down 12 damage with just 4 starters. And I don't even know if that's the best 4 starters. So these decks can get out of hand pretty fast. I only got 3 trade unless I want to try to go for some more, which I'm not really going to waste that on that. So we'll grab this trade star. It combos my faction. Oh, I really want that burrower. What's he got going on? Really nothing. You know what? We'll gamble. And we hit. I could grab the orbital gun platform, which is good because it's an outpost. And if it stays out there, it's going to get a bonus 2 turns in a row. So we'll grab the burrower. And we'll grab the alignment bot, so that kind of paid off. Ooh. So we got tactical maneuver. I could grab that defense bot. I don't have any scrap. I will grab the defense bot. Even though we're doing 20 damage. 20 damage. These decks are ridiculous. Even though I did 20 damage, he's at 51 life. So, there you go. He's able to throw down 3 guys and use the shard faction for him to gain 4 more damage. So he did 7 damage with those 3 cards. I don't normally like Vipers. But he did 12 damage to me and makes me discard a card. How much trade we got? We got 1, 2, 3, 4. Not enough to do what I want.
Where's your code now?
So we will get rid of the scout. We'll get rid of that. Play this by the blob fighter. I almost want to use this and scrap out the Viper right now. I will. Whoa. Pulling from discard? Oh. Am I thinking for hand or discard? I guess that'd be too good. Wouldn't really be too good, but... so we will, I guess, leave that. And then we will roll this over here. Ninja Nin with the follow. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Ninja Nin staying up way too late. And I appreciate him hanging out. Checking out the action. Glad to have you on board. I know. I understand. Long-time lurker, first-time follower. Any of you guys ever want to get destroyed in a game of Star Realms? Send Ninja in a challenge. It's pretty good. Not gonna lie. Alright, what do we got going on here? I can imagine. Ninja Nin is our our morning crew from Friday Night Game Nights person that'll pop in when it's actually like normal time for him. Pretty funny. Alright, so Kamas has got some action with the shards. He's got some blue factioning going on now. So he's putting some action together. And he's going toe-to-toe. So that trade escort and that patrol cutter are going to make things really difficult for me to kind of put him away when he can gain 8 life off of them. This is something where I kind of thought maybe I was getting into an ability or to a situation where I could start putting the pressure on him and kind of overrun him a little bit, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case here. He's going to put up a good fight. So we've got some choices here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I could use this instead of trade, and I can draw on the discard. If I do that though, it's going to get me 4. So some of these cards are going to miss the shuffle. I don't really want to do that. If I keep the 6, I can go Swarming Point and Swarmer, or I can grab Missile Silo. Swarming Point is so hard to pass up. We're not going to pass it up. We're going to take a look at that. And then we will take that Swarmer. So we'll gain some life, which is interesting. Normally I don't want that in this situation, but because he's holding up so well with us, I think it's better for me to stay alive longer to get more of these damage cards going to kind of put him down. We'll see if that works out. Warkite being taken away from me, that hurts. Warkite's so good. Does 5 for 2, it scraps to destroy a base and then get your damage in. He is putting together some solid damage here. 15 and a discard. Putting in some work. Alright, grab this. Grab that, so we got all that faction going on. We'll grab that mech cruiser. All day. Air day. Is he trying to go discard on me? He might be. I don't know. We'll kill that. Because I think he might be getting a little... Oh my goodness. We're down to 27? I'm not gonna lie. I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm going to hit him down to where I'm at, but it just seems like a lot of damage that I'm not really following. And maybe that's the way, like Matt saw it on my side when I spent. I don't know. Grab that spike cluster. We will... I don't know if I want to bother with the discard or hit him with the discard and the damage. I think we'll do that. Go 23-27, his turn. He is again putting together some action. Actioning for the extra damage. I mean, I know he's done that a couple times, so it adds up, but I don't know if it adds up that much. Where did that come from? Like, where did he suddenly get that extra draw from? I don't know, whatever. Okay, so he is getting these cards together. He's got Blob Carrier, which now he has the ability to faction almost on command. So, good stuff going on there for him, for sure. Alright, we'll get rid of the Viper that does the least damage. I gotta get rid of 2 cards. Interesting. Drawing a Scout is not what we were looking for that turn, in case anyone was confused or not sure what's going on. Scout was definitely not the draw. Basically, any of these cards would have been. So now, based on what I'm seeing here, we're probably dead. DED, dead. We'll see. If we live, we have a shot at putting them away. Well, he gained 5 life, so that didn't help. Did not help our cause. Which means maybe he didn't draw the blues. They're both down there. We have a chance. I don't think we have the damage either way. We'll see. Alright, well, Zane coming up is either really good or really bad. I can't afford it, so it's most likely really bad. Wow, we just pull it out. 19. There we go, we got it. Good game, Kamas. Thank you so much for sending the challenge. That was a nail biter. Another example of how, when you're playing against Yoakum, I think that stuff adds up fast, where he was getting, you know, the shard damage, the shard life gain. Yes, there was some absolutely impressive bottom decking, and I was happy to see that on my side. Like, alright, he's going to get, you know, the trade escort, the patrol cutter, and we're just going to lose that. He's going to get them together, and that did not happen. So, yeah, good for me, bad for you. Yeah, absolutely good game, man. Good game. That's phenomenal. Alright, so we will jump back into another game with the Kara and see what he's got here. So Matt is sending us, it might be the same set, I'm not sure. And that he is using Biolord Walsh. So he went Walsh. So I went opposite last time, so I'll take Valcom. High Director Valcom. Falcon. There we go. Alright, so we'll give this a run. I think this might be one of the decks I'm least familiar with. Oh yeah, it's got the base. This is the one where you can do the fake scrap. So how that works is you can scrap a card, and then any card that you scrap during that turn from your hand or discard, you can use that ability once to pull a card that was scrapped back to where it was scrapped from and gain 5 life instead. So as we talked about, this is one of the cards that does play differently than the app, than the paper. One, or scrap a card in your hand or discard. Well, there's a cutter out there. So we definitely want the 1. And this is annoying. I probably shouldn't. So here's an example of where the meta playing commanders against commanders. So I know he gives bases +1 to his and -1 to mine. I'm playing Delk, and I know if I put this out, it's only got 5 defense instead of 6 normally. So it kind of neuters my gambit a little bit. This is such a situational one because most of these hands and these commander decks are going to have 5 damage, no problem, 6 damage, no problem. So I liked to put it out right away if I could, so I can get multiple turns out of it of life gain. But it's not worthwhile. Alright. You scrap from your hand or card, discard, gain 3, so yeah. There we go. Alright, we'll do a couple damage, call it a day. Ship that over. Getting that blob carrier by using his one-time gambit. It's a pretty good card to use that on. Kills Gate Ship. I don't disagree with that, but Gate Ship is so iffy for being so expensive. Alright, so we've got some good trade here. I've got this one here. where you buy a blue base, or the next base you buy this turn you shuffle near your deck if you comboed blue, which is kind of good, kind of not bad. So like here, I know I can buy that defense system. I know it's going to hit with my laser drone. That's kind of cool. But we are going to definitely buy this bounty hunter. Since we have so many blue cards already, we have a decent shot of factioning it. And then we're going to buy this federal transport for similar reasons. And I am actually going to grab this Imperial fighter. Not 100% sure why, but I don't like having my cards discarded. The chip is good for his deck. You mean for Lord Walsh's? I mean, at this kind of board here, I mean, it's good. You're going to get free cards left and right. Alright, so here's one where the next blue card costs one less. Kind of want that probe bot though. But I'm not going to. I've got something built in here for scrap already. But I'm already getting beat down. And holy cow, he's in a really good spot here, so. Got that defense center, even though it's going to be weaker. You still can't just not buy stuff. I'll use her ability. Put that back. Gain 5 life. Do some damage. Pass turn. And Janin Kamas got some side action going on there. Yeah, it's interesting. I'm seeing a lot of people talking about their testing with the beta commanders. Again, like I said, I'm in a pickup dodgeball game with it right now, which was really interesting that we did something like that so soon, but why not? All right. First things first, kill that annoying base. I am kind of thinking I'm still going to grab bases, obviously, even though they're weaker for me. They're still annoying, so even though defense system normally is 5, it's only going to be 4 for me. It's still good enough. I'm still going to run that. Alright, let's take a look here. Debating if I want to put that cargo craft in here. Yeah, why not? So something like this, like Walsh's ability, where it makes bases weaker, that makes buying something like Junkyard, which is already an iffy purchase, even that much worse of a consideration now, because it's only 4 defense, and it costs you 6. It scraps a card, but it does nothing else. I mean, having a scrap is having a scrap, but, you know, like I said, in this set, granted I say this and I do three scouts there, scrap isn't almost as important, it seems like. I'll take a Barter World shuffled into my deck, why not? And then we're going to continue still trying to base up, even though my bases are weaker, which seems like a really odd strategy. And I have no bases out, which is funny. I talk about base. Well, there you go, I drew 3. So Matt's going to get a free Merc Battlecruiser to the top of his deck. Some might consider that a good thing. Not a good thing for me, that's for sure. So big damage coming down. Alright, we're going to get some stuff going here. We're going to get some faction and all over the place. And you know what? We are actually going to pull this out. I'm going to get that double faction off my laser drone. I'm going to get another base out. Alright, and then that's got a lot of damage. I think I've got a lot of life gain from my own ships. So do I want a 3 defense hive? And that's where the questions really start coming in. At least Barter World is going to give me 2 life, and I can scrap her for 5 damage still. So that's pretty justifiable. We're going to do damage with our choices. And now we just have to decide if we're gaining life or buying. I almost wouldn't mind getting that farm ship. In fact, we're going to. And we'll buy the fighter. There we go. We're happy with that. So even though my bases are weaker, it's still a lot of bases for him to get through. I imagine, especially having this mech battle cruiser, he should be able to get through them without too much trouble. But it's a lot of damage I'm not taking. So Matt grabs exchange point, which makes me sad. I would love to have that card. So he does go after my Gambit base right away, because once it dies, it's out of the game. Destroys defense center. Like I said, yeah, he can get through all my bases without too much trouble. And will still be able to deal a decent amount of damage to me. Alright, so we will do the same shenanigans as before. Scrap that, but we're not really scrapping it, we're gaining 5 life instead. Alright, so let's get this action going here. So the next blue card I buy costs 1 less. So debating if I want to get that barter rolled again. Is it? Or is it blue ship? Oh, blue card. So this should actually, yeah, cost 3 instead of 4. Bullish Messenger is only 2. Again, I like that ability where I can get that 5 damage and 2 life gain off that if I just want to in a single shot. Imperial Smuggler and keep my damage for Havoc Ranger, or got the Burrower. I really don't want him to have the Burrower, but I don't know if we're really going to see another. Oh, he's drawing 6. I guess that's this. He's got 2 more hands out of there. Doesn't really have very much card draw. I think he's like got 2 cards that draw. We're happy with Smuggler just because also we don't have too much. So here's his command ship. So here's an example of one that's good. You may scrap up to 2 cards from your hand or discard pile. Gain 4 damage for each one scrap this way. And if you faction it, you draw a card. This is a good command ship. You're going to get basically scrap to do 8 damage. Draw a card. Every turn that you play it. Yes and no Lux. So Lux is asking if it's worth keeping the starters for the 5 life. I think in this case here where Matt has so much damage he's doing, for me, yes, I need it. Also because I'm not factioning some of my colors now, which could be due to lack of scrap, but I've only done it, I think, 2 or 3 times total. I don't know if those 3 cards would make the world of difference right now at this point. This game's kind of got the writing on the wall with what he's got going on here. I'm just going to lose. And there's nothing I can do about it, especially when I'm not factioning this stuff together. I'm drawing stuff like this. So that's not a good thing. Let's take a look here. We'll take the 2 defense captured outpost. Just because it is still an outpost and it will at least let me cycle through a card. So he's able to top deck his command ship. If he can draw it, that's probably game. Of course, he has the mech battle cruiser in hand to be able to draw it, because why wouldn't he? So Matt left this on the bottom, which is still, so he had no bad hands really that he could have drawn. So as I mentioned, some of these games, I mean, that's just the way Star Realms works. The writing's on the wall, and there's nothing you can do but just wait it out and lose. This one does the least for me at the moment. Sure, for the heck of it, we'll buy that. Start aggressively buying cards. Scrap that. Get some life. Scrap that. 4 is what Matt's at. And we can barely do that with the deck, with the cards we drew. And there's the outpost, so that's game. Ah, that's frustrating. Getting some of this together might have been a little more helpful. I don't know, not a lot. I mean, there's nothing really great left in my deck. Getting the fighters to match up at least would have been helpful. Getting the defense center to match up with another blue card would have been helpful. We're still dead, but that's okay. We'll give it the old college try. And did not draw any of our like big damage stuff there either. So we're at 16 plus another 8, so we're at 24. That's game. Matt's gonna play it out and get the overkill here. Or can't count, one of the two, whatever. So, yeah, that's an example there of how that deck can really roll. Very close game. But, not close enough. Yeah, 4 life there, leaving you there. And then you dropping the outpost. I think that might have been your only outpost in the entire deck. So it's timely to have that there. And it was a late purchase junkyard for you. But I think drawing the one draw card you had left in your deck, the mech battle cruiser and the blob carrier together, that was game right there with that big ship coming up. So far we've seen 2 of the big ships, and they both actually been played, which is cool. We played a lot of games. Oh no, you've got green. So Matt's talking about potentially maybe even questioning taking blob carrier turn 1. You have, I think, 2 or 3 green cards in your deck already. That would be ridiculous not to take blob carrier then if you could. Yeah, you're stacked for it already. I mean, that's not a question. So one thing that we noticed, we played I think we played almost like 3 hours on Saturday, all commanders, and we rarely saw the command ships, and we played them without a lot of expansions either. Like, we kind of mixed it up a little bit. It wasn't like with all the expansions and stuff, and we still did not see them that often. We saw a couple of games where we saw them, where they came up, but not really as much as I thought. Interestingly enough, I have never seen Yoakum's ship in any of the games that I've played Yoakum. Granted, my pool of games with him is probably less than 20, probably maybe 10, probably more than 10, but still, I've never even seen it come up and play. So, Matt is throwing us a challenge. I think it's basically the same stuff, and he is playing Nandi. Nandi has a phenomenal ability. We'll go over that here. So, going off of my opposite thing, I already played McCready. I think I played McCready against Kamas. So I will go to the next one I haven't played, and that is Overlord Newberg. So we're going to play the Cutter versus the Cutter and see how this works out for us. So here's 90. Oh, there's speak of the devil. So this is not fun. So he's gonna get this next turn. So Nandi's ship is awesome. 4 trade, draw 2 cards. If you happen to faction it, you draw another card. It's bonkers. So Nandi only draws 5 cards in their normal starting. And but Nandi's gambit that she can use, or the ability they can use every turn. Okay, grabs the battle mech right away because of this ability. So this ability is gross. Each turn, once a turn, you can gain 2 trade or put the next ship or base you acquire on top of your deck. So combined, if he has to use his one-time ability here where he can draw 2 and then we each discard 1, he most likely will have the 8 trade for this turn. I don't think there's any way I can do anything about it. I do have an ability to draw a card, but I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nothing here gives me 3 trade. So I can do nothing about it and like it. And that stinks. So now I'm debating if I want to get the patrol mech or if I want to buy Pack Pod. Also, Newberg's ability is every time or each turn when you gain life the first time you get 3 extra damage. Something to keep in mind because it adds up. That's like having a veteran pilot each turn. I love Pack Pod because comboing with green, it hits hard. Plus you can faction up for more trade. We're going to have Pack Pod because I kind of want to do this right away. I think this is going to be a rough game, and I need to do what I can to get set up early. So our only hope here was, oh, maybe Matt doesn't. Does Matt actually drew his big trade cards right away? So he might not actually have the ability to get it. Nope, he's putting something on top. I think he did. Interesting. So that's a bonus for us. Matt didn't us with the discard, but we have this card. We have Swarmling, built-in scrap in the deck. So we're going to scrap that ship out of there. Granted, he'll buy Siege Fortress instead, which is pretty good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I can't really do much. So we will kill the scout. And debating if I want to get Barter World or Recycling Station. Barter World might help. Well, let's actually see what happens when I scrap that. Get that out of there now. A Blob Destroyer. We'll grab that instead. I actually would have liked to grab Barter World too. But we're not going to argue with the Blob Destroyer. So the one difference to a Nandi, because of this gross once a turn ability, Nandi only draws 5. Nandi draws the least amount of cards for any of the commanders. But again, she's got built-in 2 bonus trade every turn. So you have to have something to offset that. And there goes Siege Fortress. Guarantee it. Yeah, like I said, being able to have 5 trade, but you've really got 7. I wonder if he was debating putting the Siege Fortress on top instead. I think this early in the game, I can't really see it being worthwhile. Alright, so let's go ahead in here. Again. Really hot on this Barter World here. It does so much for my deck. Plus it's good in general. Alright, so we've got some cards that we don't want to face. I mean, he's got that Fed Scout. He could get the Iron Station. I think just because there's so many good cards to buy, I want to see less of that Iron Station than I want to see Defense Station or Defense Center. Yeah, I agree. The bike is something to consider, especially with those Shenanigans. But one thing I've noticed with Nandi is a lot of times it's hard to have the trade to get what you want and put something on top and then get it that turn. You just run out of cards fast with only having the 5. Not that it can't be done by any means. That's been kind of my experience with it. But yeah, if he wants to go for that, absolutely. It'll be interesting to see if it works out. So he does get Fed Scout to pair up with the cargo boat. So he can buy a Federation card for one less. He does buy the Defense Center. I'm good with that. But he's also thinking not recycling station, or at least not right now. He's also scrapping though too. So if he's scrapping, and again, these cards have a limited amount of cards that you really want to scrap. I don't have any scrap going on yet, so I'm definitely interested in this conversion yard. And because of this, it's going to get shuffled into my deck. So I know I'm at least going to have a Scout or a Viper to scrap with it right away, so that's good. This card, I can scrap a card from the trade roll, so yeah, there's a lot of stuff. I would like to grab this Vested Moon. I don't know if he'll just hate buy it, he might. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we don't really have a way of getting it. Alright, so let's stick to our plan here. It's free trade off that, grab that. Well, we don't want to risk him getting a free, or not free, but a battle blob for cheap. Gain that. Pretty good back and forth here. He's got some monster yellow cards coming up though. I really need to get some of my green together to counteract that. That's gonna buy that space station to try to base up a little bit. It's got some excellent yellow cards to go with that. Got space station, siege fortress, another space station. All right, he's got a lot of stuff going on there with that. All right, let's get some of this action going here. We again can't get that infested moon. Really can't get any of that stuff. We'll gladly buy that stinger though. Let's scrap the needle lancer just because it helps his yellow bases a little too much. Oh, this Rex station, which we really didn't want to see. But that is what it is. I'll get rid of that Scout. Get a good hit in. He's got that Rex station, which I'm surprised he didn't choose to put top of his deck. I'm trying to figure that one out. Let's see, knew for sure he wanted that service ship. Yeah, especially with this coming up. I don't know. Alright, so unfortunately we got a mediocre hand at best. We're going to use Newberg's game. Alright, get some action going here. That's not when we wanted to see Blob Destroyer.
Walking the range at
We did not want to draw that. We wanted to keep that down here with this battle pod and blow up one of these guys for free. So this could come back to haunt us a little bit, but obviously we'll roll with it because we don't have a choice. This could work, so we'll put the Infested Moon shuffled in there. If I get the moon and the battle pod together, that'll shuffle or draw. I guess I'll just get me the same number, whatever. So I have to choose between buying the cutter and foregoing the scrap, or foregoing the cutter. We'll scrap the Citadel, just because we don't want him to get that. And again, with his purchasing power, you can just buy those monster cards like that without too much trouble. So he did not buy the cutter. I'm gonna go for the scrap. I've got to keep the damage going here. So we'll get rid of it because we can't get it. So definitely a game of if I can't have it, I'll try to keep you from having it. That's right, I draw 6. I was thinking with the draw 5, I went over it. So this was actually good then. So with the Infested Moon, I now got it set up where I'm going to keep these cards. I'm going to shuffle in those new ones. This could work out okay. And Matt has a monster hand here, but we knew it was coming up. Seed Fortress plus Space Station. That's 13 damage, folks, right there. Combined with multiple machine called ships, a defense center. Put some damage on, and he's got 14 butts in outposts sitting out there. Alright. Do we have a way to get something cool here into our deck before we do something? Kinda. 2, 3, 4, 5 would put the bounty hunter. Then I'm losing out on 5 life, 3 extra damage. Not worth it. So we're not going to do that. I don't think we're going to scrap the bounty hunter yet, though, either. Well, maybe we should. Sadly, I think we will, just because I don't know if I'm going to keep the trade around to buy it. Okay. So we'll get rid of that lookout post as well. Alright, so take the Probot. Take the life off of this. Take the life off of that. We'll take the damage here. Pull up all them bases. Now the nice thing too is they're in the bottom. Because he only draws 5 cards. Granted, he's got some card drawing here. He's got a couple of shuffles to get through his stuff. Barter World. Yep, we're gonna get rid of you too before you get blown up. So I messed the game with that. I think. Oh no, that was just in the Wednesday free tournament. I left the Barter World out there, and I didn't think he'd have the damage, and I don't know why, but I drew the right cards. I didn't have the right cards guaranteed to draw, is what it was, to kill him. But I drew it, and if I would have killed or sacked the Barter World the turn before, I would have killed him. End up losing. So that Barter World's always iffy, but in a situation like this, I'm greedy and I want to keep it. I want to gain that 2 life every turn, and then sack for the 5 at my leisure. But that doesn't always work. Alright, so Matt is at 10. Currently, did he do damage to me? Yeah, he did 2 damage to me. So, I don't know if he... I mean, he's probably dead either way, I think, maybe. Well, I don't know. If he keeps the recycling... or the reclamation station, that's soak 6, so he's technically at 16. No, he's blown it up. Alright. So, I think I get the damage either way here, though. Yep, we do. There we go. So... Overlord Newberg takes it down over the fictitious character. Fictitious Nandi. Good game for sure. I like the overly maneuver deck. I like having the built-in scrap. His one-time gambit is probably one of the better ones. I don't think it's the best, but it's probably one of the better ones. And the static ability that you can use once turn with the life to get 3 damage. It's interesting. It, for me, basically turns that one card where you can get 1 trade or 5 life. It turns it into 5 life, 3 damage every turn. Which is not a bad thing by any means for having a starter. Cool. All right, thanks for stopping in, Mike. Appreciate you hanging out. Lex is out of the house. All right, so Matt has sent us Yokum with the same setup here. And I have not played Lee or Nandi yet, I think, tonight. Can't remember if I played Walsh. I think I played Walsh. So I will... We want to do 5 cards versus 7 cards. Why not? We'll do the biggest hand size versus the smallest hand size. See how this works out. So at least he goes first, and he does get 4. Can't remember, do all commanders get 4 when they go first? I don't remember. So unfortunately for me, there's no bombs on the board for me to get shenanigans going right away with, but that's all right, we'll deal. All right, so Matt is taking Smuggler. I got some juicy stuff on the board here to pick from. Just deciding how we want to do it. Before. Top deck that. Draw 2. I draw that and something else, and I have something else to discard. Oh, this is such a sketch play, but we're gonna do it. So we're gonna put the next ship on top. Farm ship. Super Freighter hits the board. Do I just leave farm ship on top? I don't know if I'll... Well, actually, technically, yeah, we'll get that. Most likely. And Matt's got... He potentially could have 7 trade in his hand and then pull 1 trade out. Even if he doesn't, he can pull Imperial Smuggler out. That sucks. So this will at least make him discard. That stinks. We'll grab that patrol boat though. With that Corvette, with that ability. And we will actually grab this bed shuttle for the heck of it. Alright, so even if he can't get the Super Freighter, he's got some good options here, I guess, unfortunately. So I'm curious to see how Matt's going to play this out. He gets rid of those to draw 1, discard 1. Picks a random faction. Got 6. Gonna grab that Fed cruiser. Nope. That's doing it smart. Gonna grab that smuggler. Well played. And it sucks because there's nothing I can do about it, just except sit here and watch. Absolutely nothing I can do about it. Yeah, that 7 hand size is so good. So hard to contend with. We're not going to discard. We're going to keep the 5 life. So we're at a huge disadvantage now with Matt having that. I mean, that card, 4 trade, draw 2 cards. And he's drawing 7 cards, so he already drew it immediately. Of course. This is going to be a rough game, kids. Grab Citadel, so now he has purchasing power, which is normally Gandhi's thing. He's got ridiculous purchasing power. He's going to get this super cruiser now almost every turn. Yeah, especially once he starts scrapping. It's going to be almost every turn. It's going to be ridiculous. So I want to do this. Changes things a little bit. Alright, so I was initially thinking about doing some top decking shenanigans here. I might still. But I don't think so. I guess I still can do this. Hey, there's a bot we can boot. Haven't had one in a while, so consider myself lucky there. Do we put terminal on top or put farm ship on top? I don't know if I need farm ship at this point. I can't afford to have him terminal sitting behind a citadel either. Put terminal on top. I mean, even though he's not in green, he can be in green because he's Yoakum, who can be whatever. That's annoying with blob carrier showing up there. Well, at least we did combo our Corvette with the terminal, so that helps a little. And we did get our junky bed shuttle to pair up with the patrol boat. Means we have garbage coming up though. Exactly. He's always in green. Which is cool because cards that we talked about. Freighter, get that. Combo blue with your shards. All of a sudden you can top deck something. Blob carrier, combo green, good to go. As I said, he's going to get this super carrier every single turn. It's going to get really annoying. And to note, still haven't seen Yoakum ship. FYI. And there's enough trade to take that cargo craft away from me. Frustrating, for sure. just enough. Kill the Citadel. Don't worry, kids. He's got Super Freighter in hand again. I called it. Couldn't possibly bottom deck it. Yeah, this is this would probably be a game I would just concede in normal play. But we'll play it out for sport. Oh my goodness. So he's going to have an online lob carrier next turn. But not good for us. Robot's good. Back pod, not really that great for us right now. I think I'm honestly just going to waste my ability. I should have top decked the robot. Well, I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter. Yeah, so this is something we'll also notice with 92. You'll get to these points where, like, well, especially now, I don't want to flip him something. I want to make him waste trade to buy stuff. But, so now this did nothing this turn. I don't want to buy Explorers. I don't want to risk buying the station, though even though I can use the station. Listen to your gut. When your gut says don't buy the Outland Station, even though it'll give you 3 life and draw a card to replace itself, so it's basically free, you then reveal a ship for your opponent, and you just drew a card, so most likely this will be the Super Carrier, which will be phenomenal. I can top deck the Flagship, which I just ridiculously revealed for him for absolutely no reason. Alright, this is getting annoying. Don't want to get that Frontier Hawk, put it on top. Do some of this stuff. No. I'd rather do that. Alright, so I guess we'll buy the pack pod now. And again, not put it on top, which I guess isn't too big of a deal, but I could at least network about the outlet station. Yeah, we didn't use our ability twice in a row, we get it. Yeah, they definitely are. Because obviously your deck you've got to figure out, but I mean, having 7 cards in your hand takes a little bit of the burden off of your thought process. Yeah, for sure, 90 with 5 cards, but that unique ability, which is awesome. And other times, literally, it's Saturn done nothing. Or I should have left it do nothing. Somehow Matt did not play Super Carrier this turn. I think his deck is broke. I'm not sure. We will put the outlet station on top. It's daunting, but you have a giant bases. You have lots of card draw, and now you're putting together all this damage. So you can sell that however you want. I'm not buying. Not buying what you're selling. We've got a battle blob there, which now you're going to pull for free. So you've got that going for you as well. Let's just draw. Yeah, that's going to hurt. I mean, it did, but it wasn't the worst thing. We're one trade short of buying that battle blob. That hurts. That hurts a lot. Got lots of card drawing mechanics. Not a ton of damage. We do have life gain. Yep, so Super Freighter, Citadel, Swarm Cluster, so some big, intimidating cards are rolling. There goes the Battle Blob to add to his collection. Alright, we'll discard the Scout. NBD, scrap that. We're not going to put anything on top, so we'll gladly put these cards on the bottom and shuffle this deck up. Gladly do that. And I can't even get through his bases. There we go. Nothing I want to do there. So we're going to see this shift real quick here. It already has started to shift. I will probably be dead in maybe 3 turns. Maybe less. Yeah, might be dead next turn. We'll see. Discard 3 sucks, but it honestly doesn't hurt too much because my hand sucks. So yeah, that snake oil that Matt's trying to sell about my life total being intimidating is, as I mentioned, complete garbage because I'll be dead here. Let's take a look here. There we go. Can't even remotely touch that base. Just for the heck of it, we'll buy the recycling station to flip him a Hive Queen. So the 2 times I knew for sure not to buy anything, I flipped them bomb ships 2 times. Yeah, this game's over. I think we're dying this turn. Hammerwreck Station for the win. There you go. So, my chat here says, your 80 plus life is still daunting. That's how many turns it took him to kill me. I called that. Called that noise. Good game, man. That was rough. That game spiraled out of control so fast when you bought that Super Freighter. and there's nothing I could do to stop it. And it popped up in a position where I could not buy it. Because even if you didn't have it that turn, I didn't draw enough trade to buy it the next turn. So you had 2 shots with a 7-card hand with your Gambit still available to use. You were guaranteed to get that. So that hurts. And that's kind of the way Star Realms goes sometimes. Sometimes, you know, the best you can do is try to mitigate the RNG as much as you can with your play. But especially when you play with... Yeah, exactly. It's a very tough what you can do. So with Star Realms, sometimes when you play with some cards that change that too much, it's not often. You're not going to see that often. But you will see him get some big purchases a lot, Yoakum, because against 7 cards. Even if they're all just the 1 trade, whatever, you're still buying a 7-cost ship, potentially putting it in your hand and playing it. But yeah, so when you start throwing in Gambits and events, you eliminate, or command decks, as we see, sometimes it can get out of your control where there's no play mistake I made there, where I could have stopped that potentially. So that's just the way that one went. And that went really, really bad, really fast. Play mistakes I did make. Probably shouldn't have bought those 2 bases. But ultimately, that game was out of control already. So it didn't matter. Alright, Matt is sending us another one as himself. Who haven't we played? I don't think we played Lee, and I don't think we played Walsh. I'm not... let's take a look here. I'll play Lee. Why not? I mean, it is the best color combination in the game. I do say so myself. Alright, let's do this up. Let's see what Matt's got here as we roll Overlord Newberg versus Divine Admiral Lee. So Matt's got some really good stuff to pick from here first turn. Like, really good. Oh, and he draws good trade cards. Got 4 trade. And he buys the hatchling. I'm not gonna lie, I'm very surprised at that. But I don't know if it's because you can see my hand, but I would have gone Stinger, Cutter, Trade Bot all day, especially with his deck. He says it's a hard choice. I don't know. So unfortunately, I've got to decide what I want to leave him. These 4 will let me scrap and then draw. The problem is, if I scrap a scout and I don't draw a trade card, I guess there's only 1 card left in my deck that doesn't do trade. I kind of want to wait to scrap that Viper. By the trade bot, see what flips. A missile bot. Oh, there's that. I kind of want to grab that Cutter though for the life gain and the trade. I don't really have. I don't want to leave him with missile bot though either. Yeah, I can see that. I don't necessarily see Lee basing up against you, but I mean, I guess any deck could. But yeah, having a card that gives you 3 trade and it's only 1 card is huge. To be able to buy some of these big cards. Which with the format you picked, and well, I guess every format has big cards, but this one has some especially powerful ones. This is taking me a really long time, unfortunately. I don't necessarily want to leave him in missile bot either, but I will grab the Cutter. I think just overall, I'm probably going to get the most use out of that. I did have a trade bot as well, combined with a salvage drone in my deck. So I have 2 scrap cards in my deck already. So I can kind of justify passing the missile bot for the cutter. The Packers pick is in. So with the news allegedly where Aaron Rodgers is unhappy enough where he's actually said he doesn't want to return this year, I think that's all hype. I'm not putting too much stock into that. I think the Packers are going to go... I think they're going to go cornerback or O-line. They need wide receiver, as they're talking there. Nice. Let's get him on the horn, see what he says. Hey, is this like true? Let us know what's up. So here's an interesting one. So we can get our 2 trade here. We can scrap a scout. Action this. The 2 or less on top. Put the cutter on top. Then we'll use Lee's foray to scrap this Viper. Draw the cutter. To get us the Hammerhead, which is be really good for our deck. And we can still grab this Plasma Bot as well. I wasn't even paying attention. I totally missed her pick. Let me see what it was here. Alright, so just the technology of the world. You can rewind your TV. It's pretty phenomenal. The Green Bay Packers select with the 29th pick in the 2021 draft. Cornerback. Called it. They really need wide receiver, but they need O-line and cornerback as well. Really bad. They really need O-line. But this draft is supposed to be super deep O-line. So it's a lot of people are saying they're going to wait till 2nd, 3rd, 4th round to pick them up. And I guess that works. I mean, it is what it is. Okay, so we're kind of working this pack pod. I don't necessarily want to leave that out there for Matt again, because as I mentioned, combo's green for 5 damage. Pack pod's not great for me, but I do need something to start comboing with this cutter. We talked about that. So I think we'll do that. Let's get the scrap going. Let's keep it going. Let's use this. It's early enough. Pack pod on top. Hang on, let's back up here. Buy that Stinger for a couple of reasons. It could combo with the pack pod for the damage. It also can trigger Admiral or Divine Admiral Lee's ability, which I haven't used yet. And you'll kind of notice I unfortunately kind of neglect that, because if I go into the focus of wanting to use that Gambit, it takes away from my style of normal play, where I don't normally buy this card. I mean, I take that back. I guess I do. I'm just not getting the cards to put out there to scrap out right away from play. Matt is just destroying me already with not really a whole lot here. I mean, now he's got some gigantic green cards here. 3366. I think this is exactly how it went last time we played with these decks. I just kind of got ran over and didn't really know what happened. Let's take a look here. Grab the block carrier away from him. Do we want to scrap? Probably do. Let's grab this scout bot. Yeah, and that's why, I mean, honestly, I was hesitant to play Lee. Especially with how strong your command deck is. But whatever, we're playing for fun. It's not the biggest deal. So drawing my 2 scrap cards together in my top deck hurts. All 3 of my scrap cards. I mean, can't do much with that. I can at least draw a discard. It doesn't necessarily help. I mean, I really want the damage, but I want to get that light cruiser. Nothing for me to scrap here. I'm honestly just going to scrap this. Oh, there we go. We got Pack Pod to combo with the Cutter and the Stinger. That helps. If we're not dead this turn. Suppose I can speed up to real time now, the draft. Just in time to get to the pick, it looks like maybe. Am I dead? Nope, not yet. Draw to discard to draw a scout. Phenomenal. Hey, how about Citadel? Good hand to die with. $35 he's still at. Granted, I drew a pretty good hand there. There's some significant damage. 7, 10, 14, 20, 25, 27 damage right there. Plus whatever I would draw with Hammerhead. So, could have put him close, so yeah, it is what it is, so. Alright, I think that's going to do it for me with the Commander's action tonight. Lots of fun. Matt set another challenge. Matt, I'm going to take that one offline, actually. I think we're going to call it. It's almost been 2 hours now. And it's a school night or work night for me. But I want to make sure we're good to go. And then definitely get some more of these games in. Yeah, these are fun. It's nice to play with something new. It's nice to play with something that is kind of like a different game almost. So that's kind of cool as well. So yeah, we'll go ahead and do that. And then let me take a look here to see who is streaming, if anyone. Exactly, a tiny bit constructed. So it's kind of cool. It's like the hero decks from Hero Realms, as I mentioned before. If you play regular Hero Realms and you play those, it changes up a fair bit. So, alright, no one on here that we're really overly interested in. Oh, let me just take a look see if there's anyone randomly streaming Star Realms. I always forget to do that. That is how we have found random people. I'm the only streamer, unfortunately. So let's take a look here if anyone is streaming. Yeah, we're not really rolling too much else. So, alright, cool. I appreciate everyone for stopping in. Matt, Lux, Frank, Kamas, Ninja Nin, Tatiana, BQ with the raid, and anyone else I might have missed. I apologize, but I appreciate you stopping in. And you guys have a great night.